Right now, you are about to uncover something unsettling about yourself. In the next few seconds, your subconscious will betray you in the most revealing way imaginable. 5 doors. One instant lesson, and secrets of your soul you believed were buried forever. Carl Jung spent decades studying why our most impulsive choices expose truths that our conscious mind refuses to admit. And what you're about to choose won't be random. It never is. Thousands of people have taken this test, and almost every one of them was left speechless, shocked by what their chosen door revealed about their hidden wounds, their repressed desires, and the archetypes silently guiding their lives without their awareness. Are you ready? Because once you see these doors, you won't be able to unsee them. Your unconscious will already have decided, long before your logic can interfere. Look closely at these 5 doors. They are not just wooden panels or painted frames. They are gateways, 5 portals leading directly into the depths of your own psyche. Don't rationalize. Don't analyze. Don't try to find the right answer because there isn't one. Simply observe. Let something deep inside you respond before your mind has time to block it. Jung discovered that our collective unconscious speaks in the language of symbols, and that each image we feel drawn to represents an ancient pattern of the human soul. Every door you see here embodies one of those primal archetypes that have guided humanity for thousands of years. Some doors call to people who grew up feeling invisible. Others attract those who could never trust stability. There are doors that draw in creative souls, long suppressed by conformity. And there is one that belongs to those who have turned their pain into armor and have forgotten how to take it off. Have you chosen? Do you feel that quiet pull toward one of them? Perfect. Because what you just chose was not your conscious mind. It was the voice of your inner child, your unhealed wounds, and your untapped gifts, whispering louder than your thoughts. Before we reveal the deep meaning behind your choice, make sure you're subscribed to Light and Shadow, where we explore the most fascinating corners of the human psyche, from Carl Jung to modern neuroscience. Now, let's open the first door. Quiet, simple, almost sacred. This door stands like a whisper from another time, minimal, clear, and still, yet it holds the weight of ancient secrets. If this was the door that called to you, something deep within your soul recognized a sanctuary, a safe space hidden from the noise of the world. Jung identified this archetype as the wise hermit, the transcendent observer. But he also warned of its shadow, a side that few ever dare to face. Your hidden gift, you truly see. While others are distracted by surface drama, you perceive the deeper emotional currents beneath every word, every silence. You notice the lie disguised as a smile. You feel suffering behind cheerful voices. You sense what is unspoken, always. This sensitivity likely saved you once. Perhaps you grew up in a home where emotions were unstable, where understanding the moods of adults was essential for survival. Maybe silence was safer than speaking. Your soul learned that staying in the shadows, watching instead of reacting, was the wiser choice. And so, you became an observer, the one who sees everything but reveals nothing. Your insight became your shield. Your calm presence, your quiet intelligence, became your way of navigating chaos. But let's be honest, there's a price you've paid, isn't there? That quiet isolation, that sense of always being behind glass, watching life unfold, yet never fully living it. Your greatest strength, your deep analysis, can also become your most subtle prison. Jung once said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." You have already awakened. The next step is not to awaken alone. Your growth lies in letting others see the observer, to realize that your depth doesn't need to hide in order to stay safe. Authentic intimacy won't destroy your serenity. It will complete it. Those who chose this door often share these traits: exceptionally developed intuition, a natural ability for meditation and self-reflection, a tendency to process emotions internally before expressing them, a powerful instinct for detecting authenticity and falsehood, a childhood marked by emotional overstimulation or instability, a constant search for deeper meaning in every experience, a quiet struggle between the desire for connection and the need for solitude. You are the silent mirror through which others can finally see themselves clearly. But remember, mirrors only reflect when light touches them. Solid, symmetrical, steadfast. This door stands like a cathedral that has survived centuries. Precise lines, ancient balance, a quiet promise of protection. If this door drew you in, your soul recognized something sacred within it, the beauty of order that protects against chaos. You resonate with what Jung called the builder of civilizations, the archetype of the guardian. But behind every love for structure, there is always a story. Perhaps you grew up in a world that was unpredictable. Maybe promises were broken, rules changed without warning, adults you trusted became storms overnight. So you built something no one could take away. Stability. You became the one who keeps their word even when it hurts. The one who maintains family traditions, protects those you love, and creates routines that nourish the people around you. You bring peace through consistency. Where others chase excitement, you find holiness in the ordinary, in things done with care, done well, done right. But even sacred order has a shadow. Your need for control, born from love, can slowly harden into fear. The fear of uncertainty, the fear of collapse. You might notice yourself growing anxious when plans shift, when the map disappears, when someone says, "Trust me," and doesn't explain how. Jung believed that individuation, becoming your truest self, requires a balance between order and chaos. Your lesson is not to abandon structure, but to trust that you can still bloom within uncertainty. Real mastery isn't control over everything. It's knowing that even when the walls shake, you remain whole. The guardian's gifts are profound. A strong sense of duty and responsibility. A natural talent for creating systems that work. A deep respect for rituals, family roots, and meaningful traditions. The instinct to be the emotional anchor in relationships. Anxiety or restlessness when routines are broken. Leadership by example, through quiet reliability. An inner conflict between the safety of what's known and the desire to grow beyond it. You are the protector of what endures. The builder who makes sure others have something firm to stand on. But remember, even stone breathes when it trusts the wind. Majestic. Heavy. Draped in genuine leather and trimmed with gold. This door feels like a throne room, a place that promises both power and rest. If this door called to you, your soul recognized something ancient within it, the longing to finally stop proving your worth. This is the realm of the inner king, the archetypal father, the leader, the protector, the one who holds everything together, even when no one sees the cost. You've likely been strong for others for a long time. Maybe since childhood. You learned that love was earned through achievement, that to be accepted you had to perform, to provide, to succeed. That being vulnerable could be dangerous, so you became capable, fiercely capable. You lead when others hesitate. You make the hard choices when no one else will. You solve, protect, hold, and carry. You became the backbone others lean on. But beneath that calm authority lies exhaustion. Not just physical, but existential. Because behind every natural leader is a child who never got to rest. A child who was forced to grow up too fast. A child who confused being needed with being loved. Your greatest fear isn't losing power. It's the quiet terror that if you stop holding everything together, the world might forget you. Jung knew this paradox well. He said true sovereignty isn't about dominance. It's about balance, the ability to rule oneself first. Real kingship begins when you allow yourself to receive care without shame, to rest without guilt, to be human without losing dignity. Your throne isn't the place where you command others. It's the space where you allow yourself to feel. The throne of the heart is where strength and vulnerability coexist, side by side. Those who chose this door often share these traits. A natural instinct for leadership and decision-making. The ability to see the bigger picture in complex situations. A tendency to assume responsibility, even when it's not yours to bear. A gift for motivating and inspiring others. Difficulty delegating or asking for help. Emotional maturity developed earlier than most peers. A deep conflict between the need for control and the desire to be cared for. Remember, the most powerful throne is not the one made of gold, but the one that allows you to weep and still feel worthy. To lead is divine, but to let yourself be loved is even greater. Vibrant, daring, bursting with color. This door refuses to blend in. It sings, it dances, it shimmers with playful rebellion. If this is the door that drew you in, your soul just recognized something it's been missing for years. Freedom. The freedom to be fully, unapologetically, joyfully yourself. This is the archetype of the divine child, what Jung called the most transformative yet most wounded part of the human soul. It is the inner artist, the dreamer, the eternal creator, the one who once saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. Do you remember when you stopped singing freely? When laughter started to feel inappropriate? When you learned that being different was unsafe? Once upon a time you saw beauty in numbers, music in silence, stories in raindrops. But someone told you to grow up, to be realistic, to tone down your light because the world doesn't pay for dreams. And so your magic didn't die. It simply went into hiding. It disguised itself as responsibility, as maturity, as control. But that repressed part of you is still alive, waiting to be welcomed home. It wants to tell you something. Your creativity isn't a hobby. It's your soul's medicine. It's how you heal the world, and yourself. Jung discovered that creative archetypes aren't here for entertainment. They are here to remind humanity that life is meant to be beautiful, that hope is real, that imagination creates new realities. When you chose this door, your unconscious shouted, "Stop hiding me." Your growth lies not in being more serious, but in integrating your seriousness with your wonder. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be alive. People who choose this door often share these qualities. Natural creativity seeking expression through art, music, or ideas. The ability to find beauty and meaning in the smallest details. A tendency to process emotion through creative or symbolic expression. A gift for inspiring joy and hope in others. A history of having their creativity dismissed or criticized in childhood. A lifelong search for authenticity over conformity. A deep inner conflict between self-expression and social expectation. You are the reminder that joy is not naive, it's sacred. That color is not chaos, it's divine order in motion. And that imagination, when honored, becomes the purest form of truth, rugged, metallic, etched with scars. This door doesn't try to charm or invite, it stands like a wall forged in battle, weathered by storms, but unbroken. If this was the door that called to you, your soul recognized something ancient and familiar. The strength that only those who have suffered truly understand. This is the archetype of the wounded warrior. The survivor who has turned pain into power and fear into armor. But as Jung once wrote, the greatest wounds of the soul are the very places through which light enters. Tell me, how early did you learn that you could only rely on yourself? Maybe you discovered that the world can be brutal. That trust is dangerous. That weakness invites attack. So you built fortresses. You learned to fight alone, endure alone, and rise alone. And you did rise, over and over again. You're the one who finds solutions when others see only problems, the one who survives when everyone else gives up, the one who protects the weak, because you remember what it's like to be defenseless. Your resilience is extraordinary, almost superhuman. But behind every warrior's armor, there's a heart that has forgotten how to rest. You're tired, not just in your body, but in your spirit. Because somewhere along the way you began to believe that vulnerability equals danger, that needing others equals weakness. Yet Jung revealed a truth that most warriors never learn. True strength isn't the absence of need. It's the courage to trust again. The courage to let someone see your wounds without flinching. The courage to rest your sword without losing your honor. Your power is already proven. Now, your growth lies in remembering that allowing others to care for you doesn't diminish your strength, it deepens it. You are not here just to fight. You are here to heal. Those who choose this door often share these characteristics. Exceptional emotional and physical endurance. The ability to remain functional under intense pressure. A natural instinct to protect those who cannot protect themselves. A habit of transforming pain into motivation and determination. A history of personal trauma that required self-reliance. Leadership that emerges in crisis situations. A conflict between fierce independence and a longing for genuine connection. You are the guardian forged in fire, the living proof that even in darkness, resilience can shine. But remember, the bravest warrior is not the one who never falls, but the one who finally dares to take off the armor. And now, we arrive at the end of the path. But it isn't really an ending. It's the beginning of something deeper. Each door you saw wasn't just an image. It was a mirror, a reflection of ancient forces that have been shaping your behavior, your choices, your relationships, long before you had words to explain them. Jung dedicated his life to understanding this mystery, why certain symbols magnetize us, why we feel drawn to one pattern over another. And his conclusion was revolutionary. We don't choose the archetypes. They choose us. Think about that. You didn't just pick a door. That door found you. It recognized your energy, your history, your unfinished story. If you chose the silent observer, your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a sacred gift the world desperately needs. If it was the guardian of structure, your capacity to create safety is what allows others to flourish. If the weary king drew you in, your leadership was never meant to be a burden. It's a bridge to community and shared strength. If you were pulled toward the divine child, your authenticity is the spark that rekindles hope in everyone around you. And if the lone warrior called your name, your resilience is the foundation upon which others will one day rebuild their lives. Each archetype holds both light and shadow, power and pain, strength and limitation. Your task isn't to reject any part of yourself, it's to integrate them consciously. Because true awakening, what Jung called individuation, is not about becoming one thing. It's about becoming whole. The observer must learn the warrior's courage to act. The guardian must embrace the child's creativity. The king must rediscover the humility of the observer. Each side completes the other. Together they form the full spectrum of who you are. So what you chose today is not your destiny. It's your starting point, the first step on a lifelong journey toward self-knowledge. You've looked into the mirror of your unconscious and seen a glimpse of your truth. Now the real work begins, living it, integrating it, honoring it. Take a moment, breathe. Ask yourself, now that I know which force guides me, how will I live differently? What part of me am I finally ready to embrace, not hide, not fix, but understand? Because that's where transformation begins. Not in rejecting who you are, but in seeing all your fragments as pieces of the same divine design. So here we stand, at the edge of self-discovery. You've walked through symbols, through memory, through the silent corridors of your own mind. And now you know, what you saw was never random. Every door was a conversation between your soul and the unconscious language of humanity itself. Carl Jung believed that symbols are not decorations of thought. They are living bridges between the visible and the invisible, between who you think you are and who you truly are. And when an image pulls you, it's not coincidence. It's recognition. A part of you whispering, "I remember this. I have been here before." That's what this experience was. A remembering. A sacred meeting between your awareness and the timeless patterns that guide every human life. The observer reminds us that silence can be wisdom, but it is not meant to be a cage. The guardian teaches that structure creates safety, but must never become a prison of fear. The king shows that strength is not about control, but about the courage to rest, to trust, to be seen. The child sings that joy and imagination are not luxuries, they are the medicine of the soul. And the warrior proves that survival is noble, but healing is divine. Each of these truths lives within you. They are not separate identities, but instruments in the same orchestra. When they play together, your life becomes harmony instead of conflict. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that's what this test was really about. Not psychology as entertainment, but as initiation. An invitation to turn inward and see your own story with clarity and compassion. So take this knowledge not as a label, but as a light. You can now walk through your life with a new kind of awareness. Every choice, every emotion, every relationship will look different, because now you know which part of you is speaking. Maybe it's the guardian building walls again. Maybe it's the child begging to paint them. Maybe it's the warrior ready to defend, or the observer choosing silence when love is needed, or the king finally ready to take off his crown and rest. You are all of them, and more. And now that you've seen your own archetype reflected in these symbols, you can begin the only journey that truly matters. The journey of integration, of wholeness, of becoming fully yourself. And now, your journey comes full circle. You began by choosing a door. But what you truly opened was a mirror, one that showed you the raw outline of your inner universe. Every choice you made today whispered something ancient, that you are not broken. You are complex, layered, and beautifully human. The world often teaches us to chase perfection, to hide our wounds, to wear masks that please others. But Jung revealed a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Wholeness matters more than goodness. Your darkness is not your enemy, it's your unpolished gold. The door you chose was never about discovering a label. It was about meeting yourself honestly, to see your gifts, your shadows, your hidden purpose, without judgment. So ask yourself one final question. Now that you know what archetype guides you, what will you do with this wisdom? Will you continue hiding from the parts of yourself that frighten you? Or will you begin the sacred work of embracing them? Because the truth is simple. The moment you stop running from who you are, you become unstoppable. Every observer who dares to step into the light, every guardian who learns to trust change, every king who allows himself to be vulnerable, every child who paints again, every warrior who lays down the sword for a moment of peace, each of them heals not just themselves, but the world around them. If this journey resonated with you, let it be the first of many. Subscribe to Light and Shadow, where we explore the hidden depths of the psyche, where Jungian wisdom meets modern understanding. Here, we don't chase trends, we chase truth. We don't escape reality, we learn to transform it. Leave a comment below and tell us, which door did you choose? But more importantly, What did it awaken inside you? Share your reflection. Let others see that their path is not lonely. And if this exploration touched something deep within you, support this channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with those who are ready to begin their own journey inward. Because the most powerful story you will ever tell is the one you are writing right now. Consciously, courageously, authentically. Remember this: your choice today was not a coincidence. It was your unconscious calling you home. So walk through that door and let your truest self finally breathe.